Okay, here we go. We are back with some Friday night 9-ball. I think we're up and running. Bracket's already been drawn. The tournament's been underway for 5 minutes. We can see the bracket. We've got Black Jagged playing Capo. Capo's getting 7 and out. And McClarky's got a bye. Gunnett's got a bye. Larry's playing Tommy U. Tommy U's getting 7 and out. And Potman has a bye. Bedhead and Stefan are playing. Stefan's getting 7 and out. And Wink at Me and Hazard have both got a bye and they're playing their second round match. The match we're going to join is Stefan and Bedhead. Race to 7. Let's just check the little doodle's working. I think it is. I'll get my little plug in first. No harm in advertising. Right, so Stefan's underway. He's won the first rack. And there's quite a big difference here in rating. We've got Bedhead 2,380 and Stefan in 2,046. So that's 300 odd, over 300 points. And Stefan's just getting 7 and out. Well, maybe that's evened out a bit because Stefan's over 2,000, so that's a champ rated player, I think, is it not? Pretty certain it is. And Stefan is good enough if he just takes his time a bit more to make the most of that handicap, most certainly. But this is Bedhead at the table. That 4-ball goes past the 9, so it should easily enough get on to the 4. The only problem he's going to have is getting back to the 5. Now this is going to have to be a good shot. There's a danger he could hit the 8-ball here. He's going to come off that left rail and back across to the right. And he needs to watch the 8-ball, and there's the problem. Now he's going to pot the 8, that's fine, but he's got no shot in the 5. Is he going all out for the bank? Yes, he is, and in it goes. Clean bank, still needs another good shot here. I don't know whether he's going to try and come over the right hand side of this 7-ball because it's a thin cut in the 6. Yep, he's letting it run and that looks good. And that's what Stefan's up against. Any chances that Bedhead gets, he's more than likely he's going to run out. And this is where a player of Stefan's rating needs to take whatever chances he can, or at least make sure that he doesn't make it easy for Bedhead. But he's going to tie it up. 1-all. Dry break for Bedhead now. I think there's a reasonable angle there for Stefan to come back for this too. And he needed to hit it a wee bit firmer, I think. He's just a bit short. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it's not far enough. And he really should have covered that too, because that's given Bedhead the control of the table here. I'm sure he can't get the 2 past that. 7, no, there's no chance of that. So he's probably looking to just tuck this cue ball away. Now, the one thing to pay attention to for Bedhead is the fact that we've got that 8 ball hanging over the pocket, and Stefan with 7 and out, any chance he can get to knock that 2 ball down onto the 8, he would take it. He's got the second bank on the 2, and here's a good chance, as long as he doesn't block himself out on the 4 ball. If he goes too far, that's likely to happen. I think he's got the pace okay. And this is where you've got to go through with the shot and get this cue ball back out for the 5. And he didn't get into it enough. He didn't get into it. He needed to be firm. A little bit of bottom and draw that off the side rail and up the table between the 7 and the 6 there. Well, it's semi-safe, this 5 ball, but I reckon Bedhead's the type of player with that sort of rating. He's going to try and thin this down the rail, and if he gets it, he's going to be on the 6 ball, and this rack's over. All hinges on the 5, and he's overdone it. Oh dear, well, oh, I thought the 6 was going to go. Well, Stefan, as long as he doesn't follow through and run into this bottom right hand corner pocket, he should nudge that 5 onto the 8 and go into the lead. So 2-1, it worked out in the end, having that 8 ball over the pocket. That's something that the higher rated player, when he's given such a handicap, has to be wary of. Whenever you see the money balls hanging over the pockets or getting very close, you need to take care of them if you can. Well, Stefan jumped out of the hook there, but maybe he should have taken a little bit more time in how he hit that 2 ball, because he's left it in the open, and he can certainly get back for the 3 off this 2. The angle's perfect. Probably just nudge between the 5 and the 6. Well, he's hit the 5, and that's left him a bit high. And he's got to be careful with this one as well, because that's 7 balls in the path towards that 5 if he doesn't get narrow to it, so that's why he hasn't played it. He's trying to keep it safe. Pretty good effort at it. Good evening. Good evening, Matt. Who are you playing? Let's have a look. Oh, you've got a bye, so you're waiting on the winner of Black Jagged and Capo, and Capo's got 7 and out, and he's up 3-1. Well, if you get Capo, you're going to be up against it, because he's more likely going to get 5 and out. So you've got to play wisely. So Bedhead, open table. All hinges about getting on this 6 ball off the 5. He gets on that, he should be out. And it's not just about getting on this 6 ball, he needs to get on it nice so it's easy enough to get on the 7. I think he's just gone far enough. That'll do it. Right, let's have a look at the angle he's got. Well, it's through off the rail and back out for the 7. No, he's going to draw. Well, this isn't a definite. We've seen it week after week, getting beyond that 9 ball. If you get beyond the 9 ball, you've got problems. But he's played it a good weight, good controlled weight, and he's perfect. So Bedhead is proving that he's more than capable of taking his chances when he gets them. It's going to be very difficult for Stefan if he doesn't keep things tight. If he starts to get a bit wild, going for something he shouldn't be going for, he's going to make it easy, so he needs to keep it tight. So Bedhead got the 2 ball down. He's got a shot in the 1. He's going to have to play another good one to get down the bottom end of the table for this 3. Now, I'm not really sure what he tried there, whether he played that one onto the 7 to pot the 7. Stefan's got the same problem, but although he can roll through, he's going to leave a narrow angle pot into that middle pocket. He's just going to go straight down. And he's underhit that by a foot. At least a foot. He should have been more or less down onto the bottom rail with that, and it would have been easy to roll through to get the 4 into the left middle. So that's how you get out of shape here. And he's done the worst thing of all. He's scratched. And all that was about was just controlling his pace in the ball. He didn't want to run through and follow the ball into the pocket, which he wasn't going to do anyway. And he had a big margin of error to get to the bottom rail to get on that 3. So that was not a good shot by Stefan. Well, he's queuing down over the 9. Shouldn't be a problem though. He can just trickle through for the 5. And it looks as if he's going to play the 6 into the same hole. Now what does he do? The safest bet is off the rail and back into the middle of the table for the 7. And don't try and get cute. You could block yourself off with the 9. Well, he's done it. He's got there. Quite comfortable playing those shots because he's got the pace on his mouse and his cue working well. When you've got that control, it makes the game a lot easier, and that gives you the confidence to be able to play shots. Lower rated players time and time again haven't got control of the shots as well because they haven't got their mouse dialed in, and they play the game time after time and they never get it adjusted. It's always something I say you should work on. Get yourself into a room or offline, whatever you want to do, and just mess with the pace and the mouse, and just try and get even if all you do is play 9 ball, just bank the cue ball as if you're playing a lag shot and try and get it to the bottom rail. And if you think you're overhitting it, tweak the mouse down a bit. And once you can bank regularly up and down the table and get that cue ball to the rail, then you're getting control of the pace in the mouse. And then that converts into all your other shots that you're going to play in the game, where you've got the pace under control. I mean, all the other factors come into it, learning how to play the shots and playing position, but if you can't do that if you're not in control of the cue ball. You just need to watch the 2,200, 2,300 odd rated players, and that's the one thing they've all got. They've all got control of the cue ball. Nice angle in the 4. Just come off the rail, back up into the table for the 5. Don't underhit it though. You've got to get up higher onto the 5. Well, let's see what he's left himself here. Well, he's going to have to stun this firmly onto the rail, get the cue ball back out, There's a danger if he's going to run through here, he's going to run into the 9 and the 7 and leave a long 6. But to me, the stun shot onto the side rail, firm, and get the cue ball out. He's played the draw. Always dangerous, but once again he's got the pace right. Just below the equator of the cue ball there, with enough power to get the draw to work, but not to overhit it. So here's the important one. Inside English maybe, yep. Get that cue ball up. He's left it short. And he's most certainly going to hit the 9 ball here, and this is where he's going to ride his luck. He's relying on a good kiss off the 9 and still leaving himself a shot in the 9. And he's done it. That's perfect. Looking very strong. And Bedhead goes into the lead. Five balls gone. Something else gone. Yep, the 8 ball, sorry, the 7 has gone. He's got a thin cut on the 1 if he wants to go for it. Maybe he's better playing the safety. Looking for cover behind that 6. And the 1's just going to run a wee bit too far. 6 ball's probably a good guide here for Stefan. Get the thin cut in the 1. He's overdone it. That's another pace shot. Well, he's probably could have hit that a wee bit harder. Left himself a fair distance from the 2. Cue ball running towards the 8 ball here. And he's avoided the 8. And how's the angle he's got here? Well, he's actually dead straight, so it's just going to be a draw. And doesn't want to draw in behind that 8 ball, so he's going to leave it short. Well, it's all fallen into place here for Bedhead. And it's a 2-rack gap that's going to develop into a 3-rack gap. It's now 5-2. And Stefan needs to stop this run. Well, here's an opportunity. Dry break, a shot in the 1. Get the cue ball out, get onto that 2. Well, he's drawn that and the English has killed it and snookered himself. Well, here's an object lesson in punishing somebody. Ball in hand for Bedhead. He's just going to take his time, just looking at the line of the 5 ball. See if he's going to get it past the 9 if it comes to it, which it will. So he's now worked out his path that he's going to take to run these balls. Now he's come up to leave himself the angle in the 3 to drop in behind the 4. So the cue ball's going to get up to the left hand side of the 5 on the rail if he can. He's gone beyond it, so he's not going to be hindered by the 5, but he's left himself straight, so he's going to have to force this in to get the cue ball out if he's intending to take the 5 past that 9. Now he's decided to try and kate it into the corner, and he's on it. Well, this has all come about because Stefan had a straight in shot close to the cue ball with the 1 ball, but potted it, and then drew the ball with the wrong English and checked the cue ball up and killed the spin. But there we go. You don't get many mistakes, but Bedhead's made one, and I think he's got away with it. Unless Stefan wants to try the 6-9 combo. But if he doesn't want to do that, he's going to have to do something damn well to get this 6 safe. I think that can be chipped in, the 6. The cue ball's going to come down to the left hand corner here for this 7. He's babied it in with just enough pace. Well, there was one mistake, one missed shot from Bedhead in that rack, but he got lucky. And Stefan didn't with his last shot in the 6. And it's now 6-2 to Bedhead. Now Stefan needs to get a good safe here. And it's not ideal. He needs to get cover somewhere. And that knuckle hasn't helped him. Or has it? Well, I think well, it's easy enough to kick the one, certainly. Is he going to try and jump it and nudge the one in? Oh, he's going for the kick. Well, I think I don't see why Stefan isn't jumping over the 4 and nudging the edge of the 1, because he could billiard the 5 in. Well, he's kicked it in. He's kicked it in that way. I think he's been unlucky. He's actually hooked himself behind the 6. Oh, and another bit of luck. Well, he's going to have to dig something out here if he's going to keep this run going. And that's a good shot. Well, he's got to follow through now. He's got on the 3. The 4's sitting there waiting. And remember, he's 7 and out, so he needs the 4 the 6, and then the 7. So he needs a good big draw on this 4. And he's got more than enough angle to drop behind the 7. So we should stem the tide here. So he gets one back, but Stefan's crying out for a ball in the break here, and a shot on. 6 balls gone in, 9 balls very adjacent to that top left pocket. So he's got a shot in the 1, he can get on the 2, and he shouldn't have a problem getting on the 3. Needs to slow down, he doesn't want to hook himself. I think he's okay, yep. Oh dear, don't run in after it. Oh jeez. Well, he's doing his best to throw this away. Just a 7 ball to get another rack back. Well, that was good. That's what he needed. He needed a break, a ball in, and a shot to get himself going, and he managed to do the lot there. So just the 2 in it now. This time though, no joy. And Bedhead just needs this rack. Now what's the angle like there? Well, let's have a look where the 3 is. 3 goes in, no problem, so just a run through by the look of it. Good angle just to run through. And there's a result in already. We've got Wink at Me, who's gone through 7 racks to 4 against Hazard. So here's the important shot, getting from the 4 to the 5. Well, he's chosen to leave himself high on it. And this 6 ball is in the middle of the table, so you would think wherever he leaves the cue ball, he's got to have a shot in the 6. And another angle. He can come off the bottom rail and the right side rail if he wants. And as long as he, well, he's going to nudge the 8. And if anything, that's helped him because it's nudged the 8 towards the pocket, so he needs to do less with the cue ball. So this match is over. Just a simple 8, cue ball off the end rail, back out for the 9. And that'll be job done. Stefan will move over to the 1 lost side. And that's a strong performance by Bedhead. He's not missing much. And that puts him as a strong favourite for the tournament. So, Bedhead wins 7 racks to 4. Right, let's have a look at the bracket. Well, we can see that Black Jagged and Capo, I think we'll just dive into that match because that's getting to the nitty gritty. We've got Black Jagged who's giving Capo 7 and out. And Capo is 6-5 up. Black Jagged's got ball in hand. The big draw and no joy. Oh, that's the way to do it. Well, Black Jagged has to be careful because any chance that Capo can get for knocking a money ball in, he's going to have a go at it. And I think, well, Black Jagged, also known as Boris, has hooked himself in the 4. So let's see what Capo does here. He's got not a straight in 4, but again another smack at it. This time he's left it on. So Capo has the 7 and out, so the pressure is on Boris here. And this is going to be a tester because he's dead straight on the 5. So he can only go forward or back. So he's not going to go forward because he's going to go into the pocket. And it's the big draw again. And really hoping he has a shot in the 6. Well, he's drawn it, but just not far enough. He's got an awkward angle. And watch the cue ball, don't let it run. Well, dangerous. The in-off was always on. So here is what matters. We're down to the money balls. And Boris can't afford to miss. And he's missed. And this match will be over. That's what you don't do when you get down to the nitty gritty. You've just teed it up for him. And Capo just nudges in the 7 and wins the match 7-5. Right. So we've now got an opponent for McClarkey. And that's going to be Capo. And as I said, there's going to be a hefty handicap, and Capo's getting 6 and out. And that is tough. Meanwhile, if we go into this first round match, we've got Larry playing Tommy Yu, and that's also getting to the business end of the match. Don't tell me we're going to have problems joining the room. It looks like it. Yeah, I think we've got something going on here. Oh. Good evening. When did you type that? That was 15 minutes ago. That's the first time I've looked at the chat. You still there? You still there, Rip? Right, I think I'm going to have to kill the game and get it back up and running because something's died. Just give me a second, guys. We'll be back in a minute. Right, there is something up with Larry and Tommy Yu's room that I cannot get in. So, it's not going to kick me back out, it's just going to hang. So I'm going to have one more go. Well, we're just going to have to wait for Larry and Tommy U's result, because I'm not going to try and get back into the room again. There's something about that room that doesn't like me. So, in the meantime, we'll go in and have a look at the Capo McClarkey match. That one's working okay. And Capo nudges in the 7, and it's 1-0. He's come up dry. Nothing but a push out. Another look at the bracket, hang on. To get to the link for the tournament. Where is it? Friday night 9-ball, there we go. How's that match going? Larry's up 6-5. It's weird that happens from time to time, where you just simply can't get into a room. I don't know what kind of bug that is. And Capo having a lash. What does Lucy knows mean? Am I missing something here? Well, if you look at that 4-ball, that 7-ball is sitting very adjacent. Capo's going to have a smack at that if he gets a chance. And this is what you've got to be careful of. And I think he's got the hook. Six balls close to that corner as well. So it's a little bit of a dodgy situation here for McClarkey. He's got to be careful what he's doing with this 3-ball. It's either got to go in or go safe. Well, it's gone in, and he's set the combo up dead now. That is dead to the pocket. Now, can he hit this 4 thin enough and hard enough to nudge that 7 down the rail? Oh, he's going for the bank. He's gone for the bank. And that's a good shot. Dead straight in the 5. Just a little draw off it. Well, he's going to have to baby this 6 in. Just dead weight. So here's one of these shots. You get this right with enough pace and get the cue ball up there. Needs to get to that pocket. It's almost there. I think he's okay. Let's see what angle he's got. Maybe a little bit of right-hand English here. I don't know. No, he's all right. So McClarkey is going to tie the match up. 1-1. And all the balls are in the middle of the table, more or less, bar the 8-ball. And there's the result come through. And Larry was up 6-5, and Tommy U has come back to win the match by 7 racks to 6 in a final rack decider. So Larry Moves over to the one lost side. And that's an overcut there, but he's got it safe. Well, now, you have to say it, all the balls are there for the taking. And he's got the pace almost right in the two. There's a slight angle on it. Shouldn't have any problem getting on the 3 though. This 4 ball's a bit of a problem if he doesn't get high enough. And what you don't want to do is end up going inside of the 5 and 7. You need to get up that way. And he's just overhit it. He's still got a pot on the 4 into a blind pocket, but where's the cue ball going to go for this 5? And that's well played. Well, I could have done with missing the 8, but he's still got a shot. But you can't afford to miss now because it's all the money balls now. And he's overhit that. This is where it gets dangerous. If you go for the bank and you miss it, you've just got to hope you get it safe. And that looks okay, but I'm pretty certain Capo's going to have a slash at this again. Where's the cue ball going? Well, you don't slash it that hard because that's what can happen. Should have been 2-1. That was careless. And a bonus for McClarkey. He thought it was all over there till the cue ball started running. No joy. Just as well it's not 5 and out, because that one ball will be getting slammed into the 5. That's the way Capo plays it. I thought Capo had a house cue. What's going on here? Is he disconnected? Yeah, something's gone awry here. Because the cue... What's happened? Just a shot clock. Because it had changed to McClarkey's cue. I don't know what he's saying there. Mouse not bet. What is that? Mouse not... No, mouse not bat. I don't know what he means. But McClarkey's done the gentlemanly thing and passed it back. Well, he's going to run out of time again. That clock's... Well, the extension is gone. Well, as much as your opponent's having problems, whatever problems they might be, you can't sit and wait all night. You've just got to go on with it. It's up to him to get it fixed. If something isn't working, he can always disconnect from the room, restart the game and see if everything will work then. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I couldn't join Larry and Tommy U's room, so Capo seems to have disappeared. Well, he says he's now good. And there we go. The old hit and hopes worked again. And if he can slam this 5 in, which he hasn't, you never know, off the 8. Oh, there we go. There's another one. Oh, you cannot write the script for it. And then goes the 6, and it's 2-all. There you go. That's how quickly your lead can disappear in this game when you're given a handicap. And somebody's prepared to just slam the balls around the table. And when the outcome is they get into the pocket, there's nothing much you can do about it at all. Now this is a little bit tricky here, this type of shot. You're trying to baby it behind the 9 there and not hook yourself behind the 9, and he's done exactly that. It was all about the pace. He needed to hit that 9 full in the face. And if this 4 travels across, well, this could be deja vu like the last rack. This time though, he's scratched, so that is where he has to be punished. You've got to run out this time. Now this type of shot, I want to bring the cue ball back towards the 7, but the 9 is just a bit of a hindrance. So he's come around behind it, which was the wisest shot. Well, this cue ball's going to be travelling after this 7 ball because it's going to have to get around the corner and up for that 9. And this is going to be the crucial one. Get the cue ball running, but don't run too far. And he's leaving himself high. It's a tester. And in it goes. So back into the lead. 3 racks to 2. Breaking open rack number 6. Dry break, but there's no immediate danger for McClarkey. There's no money balls hanging over pockets. And Capo has just hooked himself on the 2. Easy kick though. Well, how's that for luck? Another easy kick, but you've got to watch the scratch if you come off that, the side rail. Well, that's actually a good shot because he's got a good cut in the 3. And he's just slamming him in. And now he's got a 4-7 combo for the rack. Well, this is where you play the thin safety. Well, I'd be going the other way. I'd be nudging that 4 ball in behind the 9 and the 7 and getting the cue ball down into this bottom left hand corner. That's the shot I would have done. I would have went thin off it that way and up here and leave that 4 ball somewhere up there. So it wasn't the best of safety shots. And Capo's overcut the 5. Well, here's another chance. You can go for the 5 into the middle, but it's not ideal. And McClarkey's going to get the luck this time. Full ball snooker, easy kick. But once again, Capo's had a lash at it. And scratched. And of course well, if there's a slight problem, it's the 7 ball. And it all depends where you end up for this 6 ball as to how comfortable you can get on the 7. Well, from what I see here, the shot you do is just make sure you pot that 6. The cue ball's going to go that direction. Well, he's drawn off it, and that's made it a lot more difficult. If you're a slighter angle looking at that 7 that way, you can still go that way and this way with the cue ball, and he's left himself too much to do there. But he's got it safe. Well, I say safe, you never know. Here's another chance. Once again, the cue ball's coming off the end rail, the left side rail, and over to the right as far as you can get it. That'll do it. Simple enough to drop off the side, the end, and over to the left for a more or less straight 5. And that will open up a gap for McClarkey. 4-2. Anybody watching the stream, is the stream okay for you guys? It looks perfectly good to me. And if it's not, or if the quality doesn't look as good, make sure you check the little cog wheel in the bottom of the video. In the bottom of the video stream window, and actually change the quality. You can change it to 720, because there's some people who've been watching the stream and saying it looked crap and they hadn't actually changed the quality. Anyway, back to the game. 4-2 to McClarkey. Trying to tuck the cue ball away, and he's made a pretty damn good effort at it. And Capo's going to do well to get anywhere near this 2 ball. Oh, he's played the jump and get out of it. Good jump from such a close distance to the 7 ball. Now there's where the immediate danger is, right away there. Look at that 5-9 combo. Now if McClarkey can get this 3 and get the bottom side of the 4, he needs to slow down a bit here. He's going a bit too far. Well, what do you do in this situation? Because if you leave this 4 ball hanging over the pocket, Capo's just going to pot the 4 and slam the 5 onto the 9. Yet this is what you've got to be wary of. You either go all out for the pot or you get that 4 ball safe. Well, that's a good effort. McClarkey's went for the combo himself, taking away that equation, and opens up the gap even further. It was a good shot. Where's the 9 ball going? It doesn't matter, it's going to get respotted anyway. We're playing spot money in this match, or in this tournament. So if the money ball, which is a 9 ball, the main money ball, goes in off the break, it'll be respotted. If, however, McClarkey had potted, say, the 6 and the 7 ball in the break, as well as the 9 ball, the 9 ball would get respotted, but the other 2 money balls would stay down, because they're his opponent's money balls. Once again, Capo's jumped out of the problem. Left a 1 on though. It's a bit of a fiddly shot to get on the 2, and that looks good if it just squeezes by. Well, it's gone a wee bit further than you would like. He's got an easy safety, or he can go for the thin cut. And I think this is a bit straight. Yeah. There's not an awful lot you can do. You can try and steal a bit of an angle there to try and force the cue ball up. How's his luck? Well, at least he can see the 5. A thin edge off the 5 and just try and tuck the cue ball behind the 8. But you've got to get to the rail, remember. Well, he's gone for the cut. Dangerous. Now, can Capo pot the 5 and the 6? He's not going to do it doing that, is he? Well, he's got the nudge in the 9. Straight in 6. Well, if only he'd slow down and actually line up his shots, he'd probably get on a lot better. And there's a result from the one lost side. Black Jagged has won a final rat decider against Hazard. McClarkey goes for the combo in the 9. And he set up the 6. So it's 1 back for Capo. Still trailing by 2. And there's the danger again up in the top left hand corner pocket. You'll get a 6 and an 8. Combo possible. Excuse me. Well, if you hit the 3 hard enough off the rail, it'll go in off the back end of the 8. And that's what he's tried. Is the 8 going to track in? Nope. But here goes the 4-8 combo. And he's completely missed the 8 ball. Well, the 8 ball will disappear this time. But where's the 5 ball going to finish? Got to hit this dead weight just to drop the 8 into the pocket. Oh, the double kiss has done him a favour there. That holds the 5. Now, how does that 7 look? I mean, we can see it's well off the rail. And it's not going to be played into the middle. Because it's not going to be... Well, we're going to play it in the middle. He's going to have to leave a high cut in this 9. Unless he can nudge it in firmly. It's a bit tight, but he's played it well. So McClarkey sitting on the hill needs 1 more and breaking off in rack number 10. Oh, well, that 4 ball has come to the rescue. Dry break. Now, as a billiard, well, he maybe tried to play the billiard, but again, you don't get enough time to look at what he's doing. He just slashes at it. McClarkey has to take care of that 7 ball. He's overcut the 1. That, oh, look at this 2 ball. Look at this. Oh dear. Well, I said you've got to take care of the 7 ball. And that's what happens when it's 6-4. And well, anything can happen now. Straightforward enough to drop over behind the 4, just avoid that 7 ball. Plenty of room to get behind it. Well, he's nudged it, he's okay. But he's dead straight. Now what do you do here? Do you try and draw back delicately? And that's how you overhit them. The rule is you should never draw for position if you can help it. I mean, it's always leading to problems, but he's got there. And a good angle in this 7 to get the cue ball into the middle of the table, high up in the 8. And that's perfect. So McClarkey is going to take this match by 7 racks to 4, and Capo moves across the 1 lost side. Right, there's a number of results have come in, so let's see how that changes the bracket. Well, that one's going to update in a second, so McClarkey's through and he's waiting to play the winner of Gunnet and Tommy Yu. We've got Popman who's playing Bedhead, and Popman's getting 7 and out, and it's currently 5-2 to Bedhead, who we've seen in that first match is looking very strong. And Wigkick Me is already through, so he's waiting to play the winner of that match. Meanwhile, over on the 1 lost side, we've got Black Jagged who's through to round 4 on that side. Larry's waiting an opponent. So there's a few matches to get played to get that loser side moving. So what we'll do is we will move into the Popman, sorry, not the Popman one, the Gunnet and Tommy Yu match. Let's see if we can join his room from that one. We've got in this time. So Tommy Yu, I think, from Germany. Let's just double check. Yes, he is. And Gunnet from the United States. And there's what, almost, what is that? Almost 400 points difference between the two. Tommy's left the long 7, so unless he's going to come back the way, he's going to run through and leave that 8 into the right middle. And I think he's underhit that. Yeah, that needed to run through another foot almost. Plays the bank, leaves himself dead set in the 9. Good shot. So Gunnet is going to have to work some magic here to stay in this match. He's got 7 and out, but he's not got much more to play with. Tommy Hughes broke off. 2 balls going down. He's got no shot in the 1, but he should be playing a good safety. Well, overhit it. Try to tuck it behind the... tuck the cue ball behind the 6 there. Well, somehow Gunnett's managed to get cover. That's not what he played, but they all count. That's a good hit. Another chance for Gunnett to get a decent safety in here. Send the 1 ball down to this bottom end of the table as we look. Well, he's played a bank combo on the 3. I don't know what he tried there. I think he tried the bank, but he's actually billiarded the 3 in. But he can't see enough of the 1. And I don't think he's got a good angle to actually come off the rail and pot the 1. But he's got the next best thing. He's got it safe. Unless Tommy Hughes going to try and thin this along the rail. No. That would have been very ambitious. But he's got it safe. 9 feet between the 2 balls. And it's difficult to play a good safety off this, judging the hit on the edge of the 1. So he's got that thick. And he's left it in the open. What's that angle like? Well, that's far too thin to pot that in the middle, I think. You've got to go for it down the rail. Good shot. Now he's the wrong side of the 5. So he's playing this with a lot of inside English right hand side to try and kick off the rail and go back up the table. And he's got there. Well, I think you just leave this at distance. You just... enough weight to pot that 6. And try not let the cue ball run too far. And he's done that well. Little draw back off the 7. It's more than likely this 9 is going into this bottom right here, because the cue ball can come off there and across there for the 9 into that pocket. That's the angle that he's got. It needs to travel a bit. He's almost there. So this for the match. And in goes the 9, and Tommy Hughes wins. He beats Gunnett by 7 racks to 3. So McClarkey now has an opponent, and this is going to be a good match. This is the one we'll watch next. 2 fairly evenly matched players are going to match up here. McClarkey from down south in England against Tommy Hughes from Germany. The old England-Germany rematch again. And on the 1 loss side, well, where did Gunnett go? Well, Gunnett's now the opponent for Stefan, and Gunnett's getting these. What's he getting? He's getting a 5 ball in that match. So we're going to join the McClarkey Tommy Hughes match. There's 1 player in there right now. I'm going to have a quick drink. The 2 of them are in now, and they should just be about to lag off. So we're playing scratch. Well, that's not the best of lags on the right hand side. Tommy Hughes won the lag. So they're both fairly evenly matched on the ratings. So we're playing scratch, there's no handicap. Couple of balls have gone in, I think. We've lost to 2 and the 6. But no shot on the 1. Well, I think he actually tried to nudge that 1 onto the 5. He's actually missed the 5, and it's an easy kick here from McClarkey. To actually pot it, he's got to judge it right, but he just got it. Oh, and that little nudge in the 8's come in handy. That's finished nice on the 3. Now, a quick reminder again, folks, it's always the same. Unfortunately, I would love to stay and see all of the tournament, but it's still the working week for me. And it's the usual old story. We've got about an hour and 10 minutes to go until my cut-off time, and Betty buys. Back up at 4 AM as usual on Saturday morning. So, McClarkey, unless he does something completely silly, little draw off this 9, goes into the lead. Well, Tommy's pretty square in the 1 ball. He can certainly thin cut it in, but he's going to run into traffic here with the way the cue ball's going to run. So he's just tried to hit it in dead weight, and that's not bad, that. Oh dear, that's unlucky. I thought has he got it? Can you see it? I think he can just see it. Yes, he can. As long as he misses that 7 ball, he's on the 4. He doesn't want to go near that 7. And you can certainly do something in the cue ball to avoid the 7. And he's managed that. Now what do you do here? Do you just baby it in and leave the long 5? That's what he's going to do. And he's got the angle on the 5 to nudge it down the rail. He needs to hit this firm if he's going to get the cue ball out to the right. I mean, the angle's there to do it, but you've got to hit it firm for that cue ball to go that way. And it's tracking along the line, but it didn't quite get there. He's still got a shot, but it's not easy. And that was a good shot because he's not overhit it. He's left himself in the table. The danger there was letting the cue ball run down to here, where he's then potting it into a blind pocket. He's left himself every chance here to tie the match up if he can get from the 8 ball to the 9. Let's see how that looks from this end. Well, he's dead straight, so it's a draw, and this has just got to get the pace, and he's played it well, left it at distance, but he didn't want to get too much beef into that and overdo it. So we're all square again, 1-all. McClarky's got absolutely nothing on here. He's nailed against the rail with that 6 ball, so he can only... Did he call the push out there? Yes. Well, that was a strange push out, although he was nailed against the 6. You could have probably pushed it out a bit less to actually not leave your opponent a clean shot on the 1 ball. Of course, the difficult thing is with the push out, if you play something where your opponent doesn't have any sight in the object ball, you're going to get stuck back in anyway. So McClarky's taking a calculated risk there. He's given Tommy Yu an easy starter, and of course it's up to Tommy to take the chance and run out, and there's every good reason he should here. There isn't a problem in the table. And the old body clock, it kicks in at the same time every week. It's always about 9:30. Once I hit that time, I've got an hour to go before I go to bed, and my brain immediately starts shutting down. Now, I think he can pinch a little bit of angle. No, he's okay. That's perfect. Go over for the 9, no problem. Well, it needed to go a bit more, but he's okay. It's off the rail. So Tommy Yu takes the lead and breaks off in rack number 4. 7 ball goes in the bottom left. He's got a shot on the 1, which is extremely tight past that 3. And he just hit it in off the jaw. Used all of the pocket. Well, I think the problem with that shot there is it looked a lot worse than it was. But what Tommy was doing there is, when the cue ball was hitting the rail, he was hitting it with right hand English so that it would kick back that way to get a shot in the 3. And when you start putting spin on the cue ball, you're squirting the cue ball offline, and that's why he missed the pot. So McClarky had a chance to respond there, but didn't get good on the 3. And Tommy trying to tuck the 3 behind the 6. He's fell short. How's his cue ball? Well, you see all of the 3, no bother. Well, that was going to be a very good shot there if he just missed the edge of that 6. But that's not one of Tommy's best safeties, so here is a chance. Now this needs to come back a couple of inches so that you've got the pot on the 6 and you can get back for the 8. And he's got the angle. Sort of. Well, he's okay. Got the nudge on the right side of the 9 there to leave himself on the 8. So we're all square again, 2 all, and there's the result came in. And Bedhead was leading 5-2 against Potman. He's eventually won out by 7 racks to 5. Now, I don't know this guy, Wanwa, and I don't know what he wants to ask me because I don't normally answer PMs when I'm streaming. Just give me a second. I'll see what he's got to say here. Irish guys leave tournament without forfeit. Right. Maybe this is another person that thinks I can do something about it. I'm nothing to do with tournaments anymore, so if there's nobody here to fix it, then there's nothing much to get done about it. Let's have a look at the lobby. Well, Redback, his name's in the lobby, but he won't be here. He'll still be in bed because it's early morning Saturday morning in Australia. But the super admin's there. Anyway, he's not talking about the 9-ball tournament. He's talking about some other tournament that's up and running at the same time. So, oh, where's this 8-ball going? Oh, anyway, it's still 2 all. McClarkey's got an awkward 7 here. He's going to have to pot it in the middle if he can. And he's nudged the 8 in. Well, that's dead set as a bank, that 9-ball. If it doesn't go directly in the pocket, it's going to go there and there. Well, he's not hit it. But he's got it safe. That's all you need. Oh, that's going to be ball in hand. He's not going to get there. Well, there's a gift for McClarkey. Just pop that 9 down the rail. Well, it's another dry one. There's a bank on for Tommy. The banks are open if he wants it. Looks as if he's playing the cut. That's a good one. Got the pace right, got on the 2. Well, he's now... Well, he's going to have to hit that thin. And again, another good one. How's his luck? Oh, I think he's run out a lot this time, has he? even if he catches the edge of that 5, he's going to knock it onto the rail. He's not going to knock it in the pocket at that angle. He needs to spin right round this 9. And that's a great shot. But once again, at that distance, he was never going to get in the 6. So it needs another good shot. He can either reverse bank it into this bottom left or go for the thin cut. But he's got to go all out for it to actually leave a shot in the 7. Is he going the other way? What's he doing? He looks as if he's playing the cut into the right hand pocket. Well, this is tough. This is not easy at all. Oh, that's a great shot. Look at the pace in that cue ball. Well, the little nudge in the 7 hasn't done him any harm. Now, he either just babies this in and leaves the 8 ball long, or he runs right around to the top end of the table to take that 8 ball into the right middle. He's going to leave it long. Oh dear, he's hung it up. Well, after all that hard work there, he could have just thrown the rack away. And McClarky's done the right thing. That is perfect. That's exactly where Tommy you wanted to have that cue ball. It's an easy run out in the end, the last 3 balls. But more importantly, McClarky's opened up the gap. So Tommy Hughes making the mistakes at the wrong time. And Tommy's going to get a drink, and I'm running out of water. I think I'm going to have to get another bottle. So we've got less than an hour to go before I have to pull the plug. While Tommy's away getting a drink, we'll have a look at the bracket and we'll see how things are shaping up. Bedhead is now playing Wink at Me in round 3, and Wink at Me is getting the 8 ball, and he's already 1 rack up. And on the 1 loss side, Black Jagged still sitting there, and Larry is now playing Popman, and Popman's getting 6 and out, and that is a hefty handicap for Larry to contend with, considering it's a race to 4. So that could be a tough one for Larry. And Gunnett has gone through. I never noticed that result, but Stefan has forfeited that match. And Capo. Oh, that's a weird... Oh no, Capo's got a bye to the next round. So Capo and Gunnett are playing at the moment, and Capo's... what's Capo getting there? Is that the 8 ball? And Gunnett's up 2-0. Right, so we're off and running again. I think that one can certainly be cheated in the pocket off the rail. It certainly goes. But it will only get at a certain pace though. Well, he's just trying to keep it safe. And now he's got himself in trouble. Tommy Hughes buried the 1 ball behind the 9. And you ain't seen any of the edge of that. But if he can actually spin this cue ball enough, this would be a great shot to combo this one down there. I think it's impossible. He can't jump over the 8 because the 8's right in the line and it's too far. Well, that's a cracking shot. Caught the edge of the 1, and he's left it completely safe. Tommy's getting a bit careless here. I don't know what he tried to do there, but he's just left the one ball right in the open, and this is a good opportunity for McClarkie to punish that one. Cue ball off the left rail, back out into the middle for the 3 in the left middle. Nine ball is awkward. It always is when it's not quite on the rail and near one of the middle pockets. Now, it's difficult to say what McClarkie did there, whether he was intended to play the 5 into the middle, but it's all gone pear-shaped. The mistake's been made. But Tommy Yu isn't out of the woods yet. This is a tough 5. It's even tougher because he's got to get the cue ball moving to get a cross off that rail and out into the table. Well, the shot to play would be that. He's trying to draw stun behind it, and he's played it well. He's got the angle there to draw back to the rail, and he wants to get as close as he can. And this is still awkward because that middle jaw there gets in the way somehow if you hit it tight, and he's hit it away. So McClarkie's gotten himself out of jail here in this rack, but it's opening up a bigger gap. He's now leading 5-2. And that's the thing. When the object ball's close to that middle pocket, the danger is getting the wrong side of it, and then you can't make the cut because you've got the danger of the scratch with the cue ball going in the middle pocket. And then the other way of doing it is not getting the cue ball close enough to the rail to leave it a straight shot, and you've left that little angle. And it's always in your mind that if you actually hug the rail with the cue ball, it's going to hit that jaw. And he ended up punching it away from the rail, and it just hung up. But Tommy Yu is back at the table. Now, how does that 3 look? Well, it's a 3-5 combo. He needs to watch he doesn't hook himself here. He's nudged. Well, he's more or less hooked himself because he can't get the pot, the angle on the 3 to pot it, so he's going to have to kick. Or the jump with the look of it. Now, where's the cue ball going to end up? Well, that's a good shot. Well, look, he can pot the 4, but he's got to run his cue ball all around the table at that angle. So he's maybe thinking better of it and trying to keep it tight. Well, he's nudged straight into the 8. But likewise for McClarkie, he's got exactly the same problem because the four cuts, but it's a big travelling job for the cue ball to get anywhere near the 6, and even then he'd be the wrong side of the 6. And McClarkie's just decided to scratch. Everything in that shot went wrong there. But it's still difficult here for Tommy. He's got ball in hand, so he can leave himself a good angle in the 6 to get up with the 7, but he's left himself way short. He didn't go through with that shot. He's still got the thin cut, but he's making things difficult for himself. Well, he's played that well again. That is almost inch perfect. He is straight, but all he's going to do is just roll through an inch or 2. So this to narrow the gap. So he's still trailing by 2, and it's Tommy Yu breaking off in rack number 9. Nothing has gone in. He's left McClarkey a thin cut into the left middle, and if he goes for it, provided he doesn't stick himself against the 9 ball, well, is it squeezing past the 3? That's a good shot. That's a good shot, because that was very tight. I didn't think he would go for the pot past the 3 because it was so tight, but he took it on and got a good result. Sometimes in this game, he who dares wins. And another one needed here. And that was asking just a wee bit too much, because he finished dead on the 5. But it's still safe. That's all you're really concerned about. And there's a result coming from the one lost side. Gunnett has beaten Capel by 4 racks to 1. Tommy's, I think there's just enough of that 4 showing. I think that can be potted clean. Yes, it certainly can. But once again, it is extremely tight on that 5. It's right on the rail, and these are tough. So he's decided to think better of it, but he's left the pot. Well, this is all or nothing for Tommy here. He's got to go for it and get the cue ball running. Well, he's played that with a bit of inside English to hold it, and he's done his best. It's not a bad effort. Well, Tommy's hanging in there. This match could go all the way. He's now going to be trailing by just a 1. This is exactly the point where you want a ball in the break and you want a shot on to consolidate what you've just done in the last rack, and he's got neither. Dry break. And has he got the cover on it though? Yes, he has. Well, it's not gone safe. The cut's on. And if he can avoid hitting any of these balls, he can get on the 2. And once that, just again, it looks a bad shot, but if you know what the guy's trying to do, you can see where he would miss it. He was playing it with left-hand English to check the cue ball so it would come off that top rail and go to the left. The cue ball was going to hit there, but he wanted it, instead of coming this way, he wanted it to go that way. And when you're playing it with the English, you've always got that squirt in the cue ball, and judging the contact point is what makes the pot difficult. And this time it's an easy starter for McClarkey, but he's got this thin cut in the 2, and the cue ball's going to run into things here. Well, he's went the other way to avoid that, but in turn he scratched the middle. So this is a sort of maybe a turning point in the match. Tommy Hughes won the last 2 racks, and he's now got ball in hand and a gilt edge opportunity to tie the match up. So it's only going to be a careless shot that's going to undo him. And he's straight away gone too far on the 4. He's on the rail, he's got the cut back, and the cue ball's running in the wrong direction. And that's left him hanging the 4, but getting perfect on the 5 to such an extent he's got the hook, and you can't jump that at that distance, and the 4's too deep in the pocket. He's got to get this really tight with a spin. So straight away, Tommy Yu's got another chance. Ball in hand. Now he should be okay to go on the 6 this time. He's got a slight angle. He can just draw off the 5. And this is where, this type of shot, it's very easy to let the cue ball get away here and hook yourself behind the 8. So you've got to take evasive action. And he's made sure of that. Well, we have a match on, folks. Provided Tommy can roll the 8 in and then roll the 9 in, and that looks fairly straightforward. Oh dear, now, why the hell? Well, maybe I should have looked at the angle he had there, but why was he playing the draw off that 8? I do not know. Well, that is a turning point, because that should have been 100% all square. And that's probably the worst shot he'll play all night. I should have looked at what angle he had in that 8 ball as to work out why he played the draw. Well, Tommy's answering the question because he's wondering why he did it as well. But the more crucial outcome is that McClarkey is now 6-4 up. He needs one more. Playing the 2-7 combo, and he's played that at a nice pace. Kept the 2 ball under control there. But he's let that slip by playing a poor one to the 4. He's still got a pot. A danger of the scratch as well, though. Into that top right. Is he cutting it into the top right? What the hell's he doing here? Well, that's a good shot. That is an excellent shot. Because he's now prime position. He can drop the 5 in. Now, I would run through and around the corner here because that's a simpler shot. You're not really having to try and do anything elaborate. Just get it out off the rail. And with the 8 ball, same thing. You go around there and out for the 9. Well, he's checked it with inside. Always dangerous, but he's got the position and he's got the match. Tommy Yu had his chance. He blew it though with that 8 ball and the scratch. And McClarkey's won the match by 7 racks to 4. So, we move on. We see that, well, that's still to update. It should do in a second or two. McClarkey moving through. And Bedhead and Wink at Me. Well, Bedhead, who started very strongly tonight, well, he's up against it. Wink at Me is getting the 8 ball and he's 4-1 up. Now, how's things going on the other side? Well, Larry against Popman. And we're going to nip in and see that one because Popman's up 3-2. with the 6 and out handicap. And we've got Popman at the table. And, well, this could be all over. Popman just needs to roll the 2 onto the 4, keep the 2 ball there. The 3 balls up at the top end of the table to go in past the 5, and then he's got the 6 into the left middle for the match. So all he does is drop the 3 in, dead weight, and leave that 6 into the left middle pocket. Well, that's not the shot I would have played. No way I would have played that. Oh, what am I thinking about? I'm falling asleep. I'm too busy focusing on the 3. I mentioned the 5 and I forgot about the bloody 5. I told you it's bedtime, folks. So, oh dear. Well, I think I put the hoodoo on poor Popman there. Oh, I couldn't understand why he was playing up the table to play the 6 and then forgot about the 5. And he's hung the 5 up. And Larry's got the run out to tie the match. I wish my brain would keep working. And Larry's got the same thing, a little tickle in the 8. Just to drop it in and leave the 7 there. Oh dear, he didn't want that happening. He's knocked the 2 of them in. And he's trying to hit the 9 as thin as he could. And that's probably as good as he could play it, but he's nudged it off the rail. So Popman's got this for the match. And that's a good effort. Oh dear. Well, that's 2 that Popman's hung up. And Larry's hanging on by the skin of his teeth here. So here we go. I think this is the first final rack decider we've seen tonight. And this is on the 1 loss side, so this is to stay in the tournament, and Larry's came up dry. The Popman can barely see an edge of that one. He's just going to push out. And if he pushes to the bottom left-hand side of the table like he's done, he's going to find himself in trouble in a second. And that's why you've got to play wisely when you have the push out. You've got to make sure that you're not leaving your opponent blinded out or blocked out on the ball, because he's only going to put you back in. But well, Larry's not got the cover that he would want. He's left him an edge, and Popman could have been in a lot more trouble there. And that was not one of his best shots. This is a straightforward enough starter for Larry. But he's got the wrong angle in the 1, so he's going to have to leave the 2 at distance unless he plays a very accurate positional shot. But the 2 is just going to be a roll in. and leave that 3 into the right middle. If he does that though, and there's not much he can do because he's close to the rail, he's going to have to let the cue ball travel or leave the high cut on the 4. So his chances are he's going to be playing the 3 from here. Well, he's marked a line there. He's actually, let's see what the angle he's got. He can actually draw back with a little bit of bottom right, which is what he's doing, and that'll punch the cue ball up towards the 4. And that was a good shot. Let's look at where the 5 is. Well, it goes past the 6. There's 2/3 of the pocket shown there. He can go in off the jaw, no problem. Well, Larry obviously left himself too straight. So, just a roll in the middle. And that'll do. Now this is one of these wee fiddly shots. It looks simple enough, but you've got to play the draw with such a pace. It's just below the equator and not too heavy. See, he's left himself square. That needed to go back another couple of inches. And there's a danger of the cue ball running into the 9 here. If he just catches the edge of it, he's okay, because he'll leave the 8 down the rail. He's managed to avoid it. Well, the shot you would play, I think my voice is going, would bring the cue ball back that way. And that's perfect. So Larry hung on there. Popman had his chances and blew them. And Larry's won the match by 4 racks to 3 right now, quickly. While that was... I'm hitting the wrong button again. Right, wait a minute. Where are we? We've got Wink at Me currently in the lead by 6 racks to 2 against Bedhead. So we're in danger of having the 2 strongest players in the tournament tonight going to the 1 loss side here, because Wink at Me's up 6-2. So we'll drop in and see what's happening. Wink at Me getting the 8 ball. And that's a reasonably good safe. The 9 ball's the blocker. And Bedhead is back against the wall here. He's got to get this 6 ball safe. It's easy enough to get it up to that top end of the table, but he's got to judge the pace. Well, he's went for the bank and the billiard. The cue ball onto the 9. That was an excellent shot. And that keeps himself in it. Where's the 3 ball going? Well, something else went into the bottom right, did it? What went in the 5 ball? I think, when did you type that, Matt? 9:59, 4 minutes ago. I think the only problem you've got is the same problem that most of us has, is that we're not 100% dialed in on our control of the pace of the cue ball. That's the main problem, is being able to confidently play shots where you know you've got that cue ball dialed in and you can get good position. You're either over hitting it or under hitting it and finishing the wrong angle or too far one way or too far the other. It's a problem that the vast majority of players have. When you look at guys like Bedhead, that first match he played in tonight, I don't know what's happened in this match, but the one thing that he's got is when he's in, he's got good control of the cue ball. I mean, we're talking about dead weight control in the cue ball to get position. You know, if there's an open table, you're looking at this guy running out pretty much all the time. But maybe he's not been getting the run of the ball here. He's still on the 4, but he's going to have to squeeze an angle out of this. And if you overhit it, you're just going to spin the cue ball up at the top end of the table where the 4 is. You're not going to bring the cue ball. Mind you, I forgot, but the 6, it's hanging over the pocket, so he doesn't need to do anything. Didn't even see the 6 there. I just caught my eye at the last minute. And Bedhead, the other thing as well is the fact that he's 6'3" down. These type of players at this level, that is when they are fully focused on the job in hand now. He knows that he can't afford to miss, so he's going to nail it. Well, how's that 8? Is that right into the middle pocket? Well, that's not comfortably into the middle, so it's got to be a tight one down the rail. And he's played it well, but he's overhit it. See, this is the type of thing that we do wrong. That's the thing we do wrong, is we go way far the wrong side of the 9. And we leave ourselves far too much to be doing all the time. That's why we're not consistent enough. And that's why if you leave shots like that too often, you're going to hang them up. And that's Bedhead and Larry, the 2 strong favourites in the tournament. And they're both, well, Larry's already battled his way through one match, but Bedhead's going to have to do one as well. Well, he's going to have to do a couple. And he's been beaten by Wink at Me by 7 racks to 3. So we've now got 2 players in the semi on the winner's side, and they're playing for the hot seat, and that's going to be McClarkey and Wink at Me. And if we look across to the one lost side, we see that Larry is now playing Black Jagged, and the winner of that match is going to be playing Tommy U. And Black Jagged is getting 6 and out, and Larry's already up 1-0. So I think we'll nip back in and we'll see that match. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is, well, don't tell me I can't get into this room. Oh no, I'm in. I am going to get my reserve bottle of water and I'll be back in a second. away and come back. Larry's up 2-0. Now, somewhere along the line I've managed to hit the button that brings up the frame rate in the screen. I don't know how I did it. Is it F? Anyway, the frame rate for the game is, it's running at 60 FPS. You just see it in the bottom right hand corner of the screen there. I don't know how I brought it up. That button there, or that number there in the bottom of the screen. In fact, I don't think it tells you in the settings. Does it tell you how to bring up the frame rate? Blah blah blah. Amplify. Somebody that's watching the stream must know how to get rid of that FPS thing. Oh, there we are. I must have hit the F9 button then. I don't know how I did that. Right, here is it. Right, that's how to get rid of it. I've just realised I had unplugged, when I stood up there I unplugged the bloody the little headphone jack. I think I'm back up and running. That's better, now I can hear the game. So Larry now 3-0 up. And Boris is getting no sight of his money balls. Well, I think Larry sort of got out of jail in that last match. Potman really should have had Larry dead and buried. And, well, he's not taking any time here. He looks as if he's in a hurry to get out. And he just overdid it slightly. Now he's going to have to gently cut this 4 in if he's going to try and hold that cue ball near the left middle and not let it run up the table, or he's going to have to go all out and send the cue ball all around the table. So he's got his choice, and he's, well, the angle wasn't there, but Larry's got a sight on the 5, so there's no doubt he's going for the cut. Oh, that's a good one. He's nudged the 9 over the right hand corner pocket, but he's got a shot in the 7. And you would think that this is Black Jagged's last lifeline here. If Larry doesn't take the 7 ball, it's sayonara. But right in the middle of the pocket. And just a roll in on the 8. And the one thing to do is to go up to the 9-ball and have a look at where it is in the pocket so you don't do anything stupid. And he's avoided that. So Larry breezes through that match against Black Jagged and wins 4-0. So let's have a look here. And we can see that Black Jagged, I'll get it right this time. Larry has now moved through to play Tommy U. And meanwhile, McClarkey is 2-0 up against Wink at Me. Now, I think we're going to go in and watch Larry playing Tommy U. That should be quite a good match. We've got Bedhead, who started off very strong in his first match tonight. And he's now been knocked over to the one-loss side. And of course, it's a race to 4. And he's playing Gunnett, who's getting the maximum handicap. He's getting 5 and out. And Gunnett's up 1-0. So Bedhead has got a lot of work to do in that match. And the last match we're going to watch, folks, tonight is going to be Larry against Tommy U. Tommy U will be getting a handicap. So the two players are in. They should be up and running. Yeah, as I say, I got out my chair to go and get another bottle of water, and when I stood up, my mic was caught under the wheel in my chair, and it actually, when it hangs down from my neck, there's the little inbuilt volume control, and then it goes down to the little jack, which goes into the rest of the cable. It goes into the USB in the PC, and that actually split. It came apart slightly, and when I came back, I'm looking at the table and I can almost hear the balls, but it sounded terrible, and I couldn't quite work out what was happening. And then I realised when I saw the jack was almost hanging out, and pushed it back in. And then of course I'd been talking for a minute or two, and I realised none of you guys could hear me, could hear what I was saying. So this is the last match tonight. It's about 10 and quarter past 10, 10 past quarter past 10. Race to 4, one loss side. Larry's given Tommy U 7 and out. That's a fair handicap for Tommy. But I've seen Tommy a few times in the Friday night tournament, and you know, he can play well, but I think he gets a bit nervy when he's playing somebody like Larry, because he knows that obviously you make a mistake, Larry's more than likely going to run out, and I think he gets a wee bit twitchy. And Larry's looking good for the first rack, but that's the one thing you've got to get out of your head when you're playing these guys. You've got to focus on the fact you're getting a handicap. And if your mind's clear in what you're doing and you can manoeuvre the cue ball, then a 2,100 player should be able to make the most of that handicap. Because if you can't, then your 2,100 is probably mostly gotten in challenge rooms, and you're maybe you're maybe flying higher than what you really should be if you can't run a rack when the balls are all in the open. But having said that, Tommy's got to get a chance. But we'll see if he does. Oh, this is dangerous. This is a chance for Tommy. The mistake's been made, and all of a sudden it's all been turned on its head, the first rack. And but you can't rely on things like that though. I mean, Larry's generally speaking, not going to make too many of them. But in a short race to 4, Larry had the table at his mercy, and that was the only thing that could go wrong, is letting that cue ball run too much. And he scratched and told me he only needed to pot the 8. And now he's just rushing it a bit here. You got to just slow yourself down, use the shot clock, get yourself set and play the shot. You don't want to get yourself too excited. And he's covered it up, but Larry will be looking to kick the one in, and he got it too thin. Well, if that one squeezed past the 3, that's a big pocket, but I think the chances in that are fairly slim. And Larry will be jumping that. Or will he? Let's have a look. Let's see what angle he's got. Is he going for the kick? Looks like it. Right hand English. Oh dear. Well, that's another mistake, whatever way you want to look at it. And it's ball in hand for Tommy Yu. And he's going to have to start off with a combo either way, I think, here. Now this has got to be hit just enough to get there, and he's done it well. And that's too straight. He's going to have to squeeze an angle, and that's well played. But he's going to now have to play another good one to get on this 4. Now, can Tommy hold himself together here, because this would be a good one to win. Just needs to get to that 7 ball. And that needs to keep going. It needs to keep running. And he's got there. But he's the wrong side of the 4. So he's got to travel. He could come over. Well, he's left that way short again. That needed to get, he needed to get into a bit more, but he's still got the shot. Maybe didn't want to let the cue ball run too much. You've seen what happened to Larry. Oh, he's overdone it. You see that? That's why you've got to play to get on the ball. You don't want to be erring too much in the safety. And that was all because he just didn't get another foot on the length of that cue ball there. He could have got himself a bit more comfortable in the 7 ball. And Larry's managed to cut that in, but he's going to need another good one. And that really was a good chance for Tommy there. Just the one shot that he fell short on. Well, it went in pretty clean. Get a little cut back, but it should have been 2-0. And Larry's already, we've seen earlier, he scraped through earlier. Oh dear. Well, the old blind pocket cut has caught Larry out again, and Tommy Yu, well, I think I said this earlier, but Tommy Yu's got out of jail in this one. He's now leading 2-0. Admittedly, he should have been leading 2-0 earlier, but he's got there. But it's due to the mistake of Larry overcutting the 9, and that's just because he got himself too close to the rail. And as soon as you touch these jaws on this table, they ain't going in. Just hit the point, and that's enough to push it away. And Tommy, well, he needs to dig right down in this cue ball if he's going to avoid hitting the 3. He's just going to roll it in. Well, the kiss has worked out. That was taking a chance. But how does he pot the 5? Well, he got position on it, but he forgot about the 3. Well, Larry's just going to feather that along the rail, get the cue ball up the table, try and use those 2 as blockers, and he's got there. And it's a good one. It's an easy enough kick off this left side rail. Tommy's went the other way, and well, he's got it safe, but the bank is on. I think Larry will just play a similar shot here. Just try and feather it and get distance in the cue ball. Well, this time he's not got the cover. Well, Larry's definitely going to go for the combo here because it's lined up. No, well, he's caught me out there. He went for the bank instead. And he's got himself on the 5, but he's going to nudge the 6. Now, if he gets the nudge right, he's going to pot the 5, nudge the 6, the cue balls can go that way, and the 6 is going to finish here somewhere. If he gets it too thick, he's going to knock it further up, and then he's maybe going to have a problem. Well, he's managed to play it perfect. Dead weight, just to hold it. And Bedhead has managed to dig himself out there as well. He's beaten Gunnett by 4 racks to 3. That's a good win because I think Gunnett was getting either 5 and out and 6 or 6 and out. Let's have a look. Yeah, he was getting 5 and out there, so that was a great win there for Bedhead. Meanwhile, Larry's got the 8 ball. Probably just going to drop it in as slow as he can, really. Well, he's gone a bit too far again. This is, I mean, it looks easy, but these just get into your head slightly, these. He's got it in comfortably, and he's on the board. But I think this match could go either way yet, and it's only a race to 4. And the 9 ball has gone in, so that's going to get respotted. And Larry remains at the table. And he's not got a great shot in the 1. It does go past the 4. But look at where the 2 ball is. It's down in the bottom rail here. And the angle's there if he misses the 9. To run that cue ball off the top rail, the right side rail, and come down by the 5 and the 6, but he's collided with everything there. And, well, Tommy has been unfortunate because that's gone safe for Larry. Now, whether Tommy can billiard off the 1 onto the 8 and try and stun into it, well, he's not done that either. He's gone for the safety. Don't forget, Tommy's got 7 and out, and that 8 ball's hanging over the pocket there. So Larry needs to keep an eye on that. And this could be Tommy's chance because Larry's got to kick behind the 1. Oh, he's nudged 8 even deeper into the pocket. Now, can Tommy draw off the 1 onto the 8 without scratching? Or is he even realising he's got 7 and out? Well, he's avoided the scratch and he's 3-1 up. And this is something that I keep saying when these players have got the handicap. You've got to watch for the danger balls. And there's the danger ball straight away. The 9 ball's hanging over the top right. And if you see the danger balls, you've got to try and take care of them as soon as you can. And Tommy's went all out for the 2-9 combo, and Larry will take that out unless he doesn't scratch. He's going to do the same thing. But in Larry's case, it's to stay in the match. And in it goes. So Larry breaks off in rack number 6. Excuse me, folks. Tommy has the 1-8 combo for the match. How unlucky is that, Larry? Well, he's played the billiard, but all it means is that Tommy has ended Larry's participation in the tournament. And with that, folks, let's have one last look at the bracket. Larry has been beaten by 4 racks to 2 by Tommy Yu. That'll move Tommy through to play Bedhead. Now, Bedhead has been hanging in there tonight, so he remains a strong favourite, but he's going to be given a handicap to Tommy as well, and Tommy's certainly got a good chance in that match. How it goes, I don't know, because I'm afraid, folks, I'm going to have to pull the plug. One last check here. In the hot seat match, McClarkey is up by 4 racks to 3 against Wink at Me. McClarkey getting a 7 ball. And with that, folks, I will bid you a good night.